Today, I'm going to continue my series about getting a job for sensitive people. And the reason why I'm talking about this, it's because it impacts our relationships, and it is a relationship channel. But if we don't really have a good job, then we're not really in a good place to sustain a healthy relationship. And that's why I believe this topic is so important. So the first thing you want to do, if you were to ever lose your job, the number one thing to do first, in my opinion, is to straight away register with your local employment agency or with an economic development center near you, the closest one you can find. And why is that the first thing? It's because they typically know the employers in your area, especially if you want to work locally. If you're open to leaving your city and you don't really care to stay where you live, then this step is less important. But most of the time when people lose their jobs, they want to get another job where they live because they have a house or they have a partner. So for that reason, you should register with your local employment agency right away because they have the most expertise and they know the employers in your area. So they're going to give you the most tailored advice that's going to help propel you forward to get a job locally. And I will give you my take on cover letters and resumes and how to do them. But having said that, you should pay attention to what your local job agency says first and take their advice first before you take any advice from me or anyone else, because they know the employers. They know exactly who's out there and what they're looking for. You should always base your advice on the local agency first and pencil in all of their events and all of their engagements into your calendar early on so you don't miss anything while you're job hunting. Now, step number 2 to do if you lose your job is that it would be a good idea to look at all the job fairs that are available to you locally and in any neighboring city nearby that you can attend, and pencil in all of those dates and times that you can show up at those job fairs and find transportation if you need to. The reason why these in-person events are so important is you get an opportunity to actually meet your employer. And that's a huge advantage when you're looking for any job. You want to actually know the people who are hiring you because you want to make sure that they've got good values that match yours. Believe it or not, there are employers out there who are profitable but less than ethical. And if you end up getting hired, even if you impress them, what will happen is you won't feel really good at work. You'll feel like you're not in the right place, you're gonna feel unfulfilled, and then you're gonna be in trouble and start needing to look for work again. And you don't wanna end up in that situation. So one of the best ways to prevent that from happening is to actually meet your employer in person. And if they're at a job fair, that means that they are in a place where they're open to actually meeting you as a prospective employee. So that's your golden ticket and your opportunity to go and talk to them and have some conversation starters ready. Research their organizations, be ready to speak about their business and engage them, and you'll have a much better chance of them remembering you, and then you can actually apply for a job later that they recommend, and you've got a very strong chance at getting the job because you've actually made the connection beforehand. Then number 3, after you've done the local job agency and you've looked up all the local job fairs and you've got that penciled into your calendar, let's say none of the workshops or none of the information sessions are penciled in for like another week or so and you've got a bit of time, then the next thing I would look for is I would Google all of the organizations that you want to work for within a 50-kilometer or 50-mile radius, or whatever your radius is that you can commute to easily. Look at every single employer that there is and start looking at their websites and start thinking about where you would fit in, which organization would be a good match for you. What do you know about them? Some of them are not going to be relevant. If you're not a dentist and you look at dentists' offices, then you're probably not going to work for them. But other employers, you never know. Maybe you can think of some way you can help them. Like maybe they need a social media presence if you're good at social media, or maybe they need help with their accounting if you're really good at numbers. Whatever your skill set is, think about how you could help that organization if they're having any problems that need to be solved. If you can go in and solve a problem for an organization, you are in a much better position to get a job going with them. Now, the next step, after you've looked up all of the different websites of the organizations that you want to work for, see if they've got any job postings that they haven't put on Indeed or a larger portal. And I'm not a huge fan of these large portals like LinkedIn Jobs or Indeed because you're in a database with a ton of other people. And so it's not very likely that people are going to even see your resume or cover letter. And so it's better for that reason to just apply straight on an employer's website if you see a job come up that's right for you. And take the time to get to know the organization and get a feel for what the people are like there. Even if you can't meet in person, try looking them up online and see if you can get any kind of vibe about who they are as a person and see if you would want to work with them. Because if you've got a sense of who the people are there and if you'll fit in there, you've got a much better shot at actually getting the job. Now, my last piece of advice, aside from job hunting, is to also consider doing online freelance work or even starting your own business. If you've got a talent or a skill to share, and often sensitive people do, then consider starting a business. And it might be a very long-term project. You may not make money from the business straight away. Often entrepreneurship is like a marathon, but even longer because you're giving for a very long time until you figure out what works. And even if one person in the past has made something work, your business and the way you make things work can look completely different. But getting that whole process started, if you have time, could be of benefit to you. Not to mention, if you register for a business name and you put it on your resume, you can show that you're working on something while you're unemployed. It becomes a form of employment that you can speak to. And so that actually goes down really well in job interviews. So it's worth thinking about and getting started on if you have time and that's for you. If it's not for you, then just focus on the job market and try to work for someone else.